Good morning. How you doing, Henry? You all right?
Yes, I am.
Is this when we should have like some kind of funky like intro tune, like do 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 do, so everyone realizes that we're actually going live now? But we're actually going live here across all of our social platforms on Entrepreneurs Advantage, the Speakeasy Facebook group. For some reason, I'm getting emails. Should have turned that bloody thing off. So we're going wide across all social networks now. YouTube, LinkedIn, three Facebook groups. So we're here today, and it's going to be held here as a recording as well. So if you catch some of it and then you have to bugger off for a cappuccino or to kick the dog out or something like that, we're going to leave the video here so you can go back and read it. And if you put comments in there, if you put questions in there after the show, we'll go back and we'll see if there's any extra questions and we'll answer them accordingly. But this today is an AMA on attention. It doesn't matter what the world is doing. It doesn't matter how nervous, contorted, how much distractions out there. We're still vying for attention. And any business needs attention. The attention can come through what people call media, but media is a medium for any platform that someone can consume that voice and tone. So we're going to be doing an AMA today. We're going to be going over a few different things. The AMA is Ask Us Anything, Ask Me Anything is the AMA. But we want you to put questions in there. So if you're watching this, put something in the comment just so that we know you're live and we're not just talking to ourselves. But then feel free as it's going through saying, hang on, what about this? What's the best way for me to, my travel agency business or my plumbing group, or how do I get better branding on my website? If you've got questions, shove it in here. And quite simply, if you ask, we answer. All right. So that's going to be as simple as that. So let's get down to the brass tacks. Let's deconstruct it all the way down to what it fundamentally is. What is media, Henry? Oh, actually, before you jump into that, I forgot to introduce him. This is Henry Sims over here. We're partners in crime for SIMS.MEDIA. So if you need any help on any of your media, branding, marketing, SIMS.MEDIA, I'm the pretty one of the company. He's the one that does all the brainy stuff. So what is media?
Well, you already touched on it a second ago. Media is purely any channel that we use to get a message across. So it can be anything. It can be speaking. Media can be podcasting. Media can be social media, like we've heard. But it's any way that you're able to deliver your message to your audience.
So it's not the newspapers. Well, it could be. That could be one of the platforms. But a lot of people think that media is either print or it's social media. But as we've already covered now, it's any medium that someone consumes your message. That could even be a bus bench. It could be a banner on the side of your school. It can be anywhere that they're going to consume your message. So if we break this down, we've got many, many different fundamentals. What are some of the best ones out there generically? And if any of you have got a business out there and you want to ask us questions on it, we will, fireside it. We'll go in and see if we can hot seat it. But the media at the moment, what are some of the best medias that you think people should be paying attention to, and if not utilizing, should definitely be focusing on for 2022?
Definitely the podcasting and social media channels are still very strong and getting stronger, just because in regards to social media, it is a very up-to-date and personal way of connecting with a brand. So whereas your website is, I don't know, maybe you update it at most once a year, your Facebook and your Instagrams, those are all updated so frequently on the daily basis. And it's also not, whereas your website's like your trophy chest, being on social is a lot more informal and it's a lot more imperfect. And so that's where you get a real sense for a brand, for a person. So the social media is a really awesome tool to utilize. And then also podcasting, because podcasting gives you a longer period of time to listen to someone and listen to their train of thought, their personality, and also the connection of what they're talking about. Whereas social media, you may have like little 60-second clips of different thoughts and nuggets. On a podcast, you get to connect all of those things. So it's a great way of getting more information um, in a smoother fashion, and also it's not hard to consume. Whereas a YouTube video, you have to watch it, or a book or an article, you have to read it. With podcasting, you can be driving to work, you can be cleaning the house, and still be consuming it, and it's not actually interfering with your day. So that's one of the huge perks to why podcasting has been so popular, is because it doesn't get in the way of anything.
I've got another one that I love about podcasting. It's free. I absolutely,
Yeah.
it astounds me. You get people come to us and they're like, yeah, I want to get my voice out there. I want to get my brand out there and stuff like this. You know, my budget for Facebook ads, my budget for YouTube ads, my budget. There's all these budgets for marketing their voice and their tone and a cleverly worded message. Podcasts are free and brilliant. Now, they're free if you can get on them. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there that need to sculpt their message. They need to cultivate what it is they're actually the solution to, and then be able to go onto a podcast and argue the point that they're the best source for that solution. That takes a little bit of work at the beginning. Also understand that the first time you ever do a podcast, whether as a podcast host or as a podcast guest, you're going to be shit. You know, the bottom line of it is the first time we do anything as entrepreneurs, it's got to be crap. That's my standard t-shirt line. But you get better at it. There's no other medium out there that gets you a 30-minute validated show. And for me to explain that a little bit more, and you know, we joke that I'm hashtag the podcast slut. I go on tons of podcasts a week. I got 3 today. I think I got 2 tomorrow. I had 2 yesterday. I'm constantly on podcasts. Why? Because for 30 minutes, they get to hear my voice, my story, my tonality, my passion, my excitement, my resistance. They get to hear me for 30 minutes. There's no other medium out there that does that. And I've been on some podcasts that have been up to 2 hours. I know Joe Rogan does them up to 4 hours. So you've got that. But the beautiful thing about it is, because you've come onto somebody else's show, you're validated as credible to that audience because the host brought you on. If the host brought you on and said, hey, you got to listen to Steve Sims, what does the audience do? And again, it's free of charge. Now, you can take that video, audio, and you can then snip it up and use it as assets on your social feed. Hey, I was really thrilled to be on Steve Sims' podcast the other week. Here's a snippet from the pod. It's again showing your authority, and it's all free. Hey, if you want to spend, $100,000 a month on advertising, send it over here. But if you do want to really get your message out there, especially because as many podcasts that are out there, we're still not a saturated market. There's still a lot of openings for you to do your own podcast and for you to be on other people. So I'm a great advocate, and probably would say that in my lineup of how it's helped my training and coaching and just my branding overall is the number 1 has been podcast, number 2 podcast, number 3 podcast, number 4 social. So you get an idea there that I'm a heavy podcast guy. If they're looking, and again, questions, stick them in here. What's some of the biggest problems people have in getting attention? Because to get attention, they first of all got to have a clear voice. What are they doing to screw that up?
Oh God, I feel like there's a lot that people do to screw it up. A lot of it is not seeing the value in taking the time to first set that foundation of defining who they serve and how. But then just from there, there's so many directions you could go. You could go on podcasts, you can go on social, and a lot of people get overwhelmed with it. And especially with social media, as new social media platforms keep coming up, when they jump on it, they quite often redefine themselves. They try and tailor themselves and make themselves a little different to try and cater to that platform. And that's a huge mistake that we see over and over and over again, where there's not someone showing up the same way everywhere. They have these misconceptions that on LinkedIn you have to be super professional, but on Facebook you can just yell about politics or show a photo of your dog. And so that kind of misconception of what you're supposed to be on a certain platform is confusing your message and confusing your audience. So that's the biggest thing, is not not defining from the beginning who you serve and how, but two, constantly redefining yourselves because you think you have to show up a certain way on a certain platform.
Yeah, I've often used the Apple metaphor there. Apple is exactly the same company on LinkedIn that it is on Snapchat, Pinterest, and Facebook. That's the same with Ford. That's the same with Nike. But for some reason, you think you have to be different. And that I just find hysterical. Also, one of the other things you said earlier is that your website is your trophy chest. That's where everything's perfect. That's where you go, as seen on CNBC. But your social feeds, that's you. And as you already pointed out, you update your website once a year, once every couple of years. Your socials being updated while you're pouring your coffee or you're on the toilet. So it's a lot more frequent. And if someone wants to do business with someone, they want to know quite openly, who am I doing business with? Where's the best place to find that out? Stalk them on social. So you do have a ability to control that narrative, to control how you come across, to control how you show up, not only where you show up, but how you show up. And here's one of the big clear things here. And you mentioned it. A lot of people dilute themselves to reach a wider audience. That's fucking nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop diluting to reach a bunch of people that are never going to do business with you. Start focusing on reaching the people that you can seamlessly and effortlessly connect with. There's billions of people in the planet. You only need 0.5% of those, and you've got a bunch of houses on the beach. Start focusing on those people that you can effortlessly connect with and build that community. So we're great advocates for, okay, let's strip you down to your nakedly you and expose that. Let's not try and get a copywriter to give you immense copy with articulate words that you could never even say, let alone spell. Let's make sure that you show up unapologetically as you, displaying the solution that you bring and identifying it to people that have that problem, and then exchanging your solution with that problem for a checkbook. That's simple, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also, it takes competition away. If you're trying to reach mass market, if you're trying to please everyone, there's a lot of competition in that area. Versus if you are right on the dot of who you're for and your messaging, and you're entirely yourself, that makes it a lot easier to find that area that you resonate, to find those people that connect with you.
Now, we've had a bit of luck as well, because again, there's always this divide between your website and your social. And we've had some success with the clients that we deal with by actually integrating that feed, haven't we?
Yeah.
So what have we done? What have we done with the websites?
So we definitely highlight the ability to hyperlink out to different socials. But what we love doing is adding a section to the websites where anytime you're posting up on social media, it just populates that new content onto your website. So when someone's going through your website and trying to get an idea of you, it's not only showing another side to you, it's also connecting your digital assets. So instead of just having these random floating things on the web, you're also making a connection between the different types of assets and ways someone can connect with you. So we've had awesome success where people, the clients that we've done this for, someone stalks their website or finds their website through a podcast mention, and then through the website, they find the social, or vice versa. Like you're able to connect all these assets so they actually work together.
you're controlling the flow. If you go to, you already know my website, but if you go to SteveDSims.com and you scroll down, you can actually see that in action. We've got an area there where we actually feed directly from our Instagram. And I'm a great advocate for bringing Instagram over, because you don't have to have a membership to see Instagram. And then you can click through and watch it. So, if you connect it with, say, your Twitter, for them to be able to click through to your Twitter feed, they've got to have an account on Twitter. So you're not forcing them to do that under Instagram. But you can see that on Steve D. Sims. That may be a good angle there. What's another one of the ways that people are doing it wrong within their website or social?
With social and with podcasting, definitely is focusing on them. That's especially even just from the start of a headline, you can see if someone is focusing on them, because they're trying to build themselves in this light where they look good and they feel good about what they're putting out there. But that is irrelevant. The goal is to connect with your audience and benefit them. If you benefit them, it benefits you. So through podcasting, through social media, through the websites, you should constantly be trying to make it clear to them what kind of value they get from being a part of your world. And that's the biggest mistake we see, is people get wrapped up in their ego, and then they're worried about how they look versus actually delivering the value to their audience.
Yeah, it's not about you. It's not about you. The other thing is that it takes a lot of effort when you're actually trying to look in a mirror, because no one thinks they look perfect every day, So just show up. And if you show up with a solution to somebody else's problem, they actually don't care what you look like. They don't care what you sound like. They don't care what you're driving. They don't care if you're doing it, with a selfie from a private jet that's not actually left the tarmac. They don't give a shit about any of that. They care that you are the solution to that problem, and they will stay in tune with you as long as that content helps them. You start focusing on you too much, and they're like, vain, egotistical, done, I'm out. So do start focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, folks, we got 13 minutes on here. We're only doing this for 30 minutes. We thought we'd do this attention gift. If anyone's got any questions, throw them in the comments. If you want us to bring up a subject about your personal industry, we're working from everyone from jewelry, makeup, plumbing company, auto malls, private influencers, luxury brands. We've got quite a gamut within SIMS.MEDIA of clients who we're actually dealing with. So you're probably not going to give us an industry that's going to freak us out. So do come up with, talk us about your industry, and we'll go over the different points there. 2022, we've had 2 years of COVID, okay? The flu's been with us for generations. More than likely, COVID may well be the same. You've got to accept, I may be wrong, I may be right, I don't know, but you've got to be prepared, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're entering this new normal, as they say, where we're just taking it for granted and we're going to get these shots or not, whatever. The bottom line of it is, we shouldn't be focusing at that. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of distraction, but you can't get those 2 years back. You can't go, well, I had COVID. Can I get a refund on those 2 years? That ain't going to happen. So for all of those people out there that have actually taken the powerful choice to binge watch everything they can on Netflix, we don't want you on this show. But we did a bit of research the other day, didn't we, on millionaires? And we were tire kicking, and we were like, we've had 2 years of people not being able to get out and having every excuse for their business not to work. So we did research on the first year of COVID, how many new millionaires were born. And I don't mean, birth. I mean, how many made themselves millionaire status. And the number was surprising. 2,251,000. Okay. So over 2 million new millionaires in what most people are saying was the worst time of their life. That's over 2 million people that went, this is an opportunity. I've got some grit here. There's something I can do about it. While you're all out there doing the reruns of The Sopranos and Game of Thrones, there's people out there going, hang on a minute, I'm going to optimize this moment. I can't get it back. So I'm going to focus on my new website. I'm going to focus on my branding. I'm going to launch a podcast. There are those that do and those that think about it and drift off to the water cooler. I don't get the idea that anyone that's putting up with us on this video is one of those. But I do want you to realize there's a lot of powerful people out there that have made the decision, the conscious decision to have this done for them and not to them. And I commend those people out there. All right. Hang on. We got someone up here from the US Army for a start. Thank you very much for your service, sir. This is great stuff. I know. Hang on, I just moved over. Here he is. This is great stuff. I know from my perspective, I've had a hard time changing my thought process structure. Retired 21 years in the Army and joined the mortgage loan organization, but still hesitate to break into my own space. There's a lot of apprehension there, isn't there? There's a lot of kind of like, my perspective, my thought process, breaking into. Own it. You've got a position that is very different to the person in the desk next to you. Own your past, own your history, own where it's brought you with that new understanding. See, that you could very much open it up to the vet market, or you could very much open it up to the entrepreneurial market of, hey, this is where I was and this is where I've moved to. Okay. You should, I think it's Jackson Bull. Jackson, you should own this and you should be very proud. I'm wondering, you've got a lot of MLO, CBC, I don't know what they stand for, but you should own that in your bio. I wonder if in your bio it says former, don't be a former vet, but an Army vet turned loan officer. I wonder if it says that in your bio, because that would make you stand out. And let's be serious. We all want to stand out, don't we? And you, my friend, Jackson, you've got the opportunity to do it. So own that. He says here, all of this is helpful, but I still have work to do. Don't we all? What we don't want to do is usually what we've got to do a lot of. You've actually got a great, unique unicorn there. You've got a great story. You've got a great background. Own it. Step up. I would often say that people should do more video because, as we were discussing the other day, Henry, there's about 85% of media is consumed via video than anything else. I don't know what it is I bought the other day. I bought a product and you open it up and there's a barcode there or a QR code, which links to their YouTube video, which is their manual. So you don't bother getting manuals for products anymore. It's all up on YouTube because we'd much rather watch a video. Jackson, you should be on video talking about the loan officers. You should, in fact, let's pick on you for a second. You should ask yourself, what are the 5 dumb questions that you get asked? What are the 5 questions that people don't know the answers to? And then you should do 5 separate videos going, hey, my name's Jackson, and I had this question this morning. I get this question a lot. This is the question I get asked, and this is the answer. I hope this helped. For more information, reach out to me at jbull.so-and-so. All right? Own it. Okay? Own your space. So we got another one here. We got Nelson. Nelson, our boy, he came to a speakeasy with us in Vegas, and he's never come back. And that's wrong, Nelson. Is there a secret sauce to connect with professional sports athletes in regards to branding versus marketing? All right, so here's a question now that you need to be asked, and this can break down into 3 elements, okay? To connect with professional sports, ask yourself or answer this question first of all. If I phone you up at 4:00 in the afternoon, you can guarantee I want something because I've contacted you. Okay. If your mum phones you up, if your mate phones you, if someone contacts you, even through Messenger, Facebook, if someone connects with you, it's because they want something. It may be a chat. It may be to sell you something, but you can be guaranteed they want something. So whenever you connect with anyone, very, very quickly turn it around to be a benefit to them. Hey, Nelson, I'm reaching out to you. I noticed you were doing this. I've got an idea how I can amplify this. Oh, I was looking at your website. I know how I can actually get you more views. Would that be of interest? Very quickly within any conversation, whether it be athletes, musicians, politicians, peers, Silicon Valley icons, anyone you connect with, go, hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking the call. I wanted to discuss this because I saw you were moving into that space, and I've got a couple of ideas how you could get into it and saturate the market faster. Would that be of interest? So straight away, show up as a solution. I always play the barbecue game. I did this with Brandon Turner. You could do this with everyone out there. Speak to your mates and go, hey, if I invite you to a barbecue this Saturday, what's the first question you're going to ask me? And usually your mate will turn around and go, where is it? Okay. What's the next question? Who's going to be there? Okay. What time is it? Okay. What shall I bring? It usually takes 3 or 4 answers before they get to one that benefits you. Okay. You've got to think about it as a barbecue. When you show up to a barbecue, you bring something. Even if it's bad potato salad, you bring something. So Nelson, when you reach out to anyone, bring something to the party real quick. And then secondly, you say they're regarding branding versus marketing. Okay. Branding is what you stand for. Marketing is amplifying that. We had a really cool cat came to us the other week, and he wanted us to do a lot of marketing for him, but his brand was very confusing, wasn't it, Henry?
Yeah.
And it would have been a waste of time to have marketed a confused person, because no one reading this is going to understand what they're back. And if they're confused, no one confused will ever give you that credit card. So first of all, Nelson, what do you stand for? Is it crystal clear what solution you provide? Are you impossible to misunderstand? Only then should you ever think about marketing. But branding is the solution. Marketing is the amplification. I hope this helps, my friend. And stop being an arsehole and get over to a speakeasy again. All right, there you go. That's the subtlety. And we only insult people we love. All right, so we got about another 4 minutes. I'm glad people are putting questions in here. I'm seeing a lot of DMs coming in. Again, you can contact us at SIMS.MEDIA. You can join an Entrepreneur's Advantage, which is our free Facebook group. But however you want to do it, you just really have to focus on that order. Understand your solution and then amplify it. Brand first, marketing second. All right, so we got someone here that just popped. During COVID, even though I couldn't travel to medical shows, I still tried reaching out. My socks and insoles have helped thousands more people. How can I reach bigger quantities of people who already reach my market? You've got a solution. The only reason people aren't buying your stuff is because you're not amplifying the solution that you provide. Okay, so you've got to look at, and you can do it very cheaply for a start. I've already said, look up podcasts and try to find podcasts that handle your industry, okay? And get on those podcasts and talk about this, all right? That, for start, that's free. And then also market that. Get those clips and market it around different Facebook groups. Facebook groups are great because that's still one of the main areas that use groups. But get into different groups. Find out if there's SOC groups. Find out if there's groups regarding MS, TI, Parkinson's, older people. Get in there and show them the podcast you did. Okay? So your problem here is not that you haven't got the solution. Your problem is that not enough people know that you are the solution to that problem. So now you've got your brand, and I hope it's clear. Ask yourself, if someone bumped into your website, bumped into your social, would it be crystal clear what it is you do and what it is you offer? And from there, you then market it out. And Nelson's come back going, I know. I always give him a hard time. I like poking him. So, Henry, what else should we be looking at?
I don't think there's like a wowzer answer to that. It's what we've been saying this whole time, because it clearly doesn't sink in enough that we just need to seriously take the time to make sure that we are clear in everything we do. We show up the same everywhere. We're not changing our messaging just because we think we have to on a certain platform. And once, like, that is step one, as you said, we cannot market without first setting our branding in place. Once that's good, then we can market. If we market before the branding, then we just add to confusion and make it even worse. I think I don't know who said it, but they said that marketing will just help you be discovered quicker, whether that's for good or for bad. You'll either be found that you're crap quicker or that you're great quicker.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's probably something like Perry Belcher would say, wouldn't it? But he's a bit obnoxious like that. That's why we love him. All right, so we've hit our 30 minutes. We wanted to give you the gift of attention. You got to understand that, as Henry Christ said, there's no wowzer, quick hit. This is simple stuff that for some reason a lot of people have decided not to act on, not to do. So take it to heart. Start focusing on your branding. Make sure you've got crystal clarity of the solution you provide, and only then start looking at boosting your product across marketing platforms. But until then, focus on your brand. Henry, where can they find us?
SIMS.MEDIA.
There you go. That's not hard, is it? That's how we play. Look after yourselves, folks. Have a great Christmas. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your drink. Stay off the road. It's nuts out there. And I'll see you at the next speakeasy or whenever. Bye.